Welcome to rSlash Best of Redditor Updates, where OP's wife is absolutely off the deep end nutso. Our next Reddit post comes from rSlash Am I the Butthole? Am I the butthole for hating my wife's hobby project? Okay, this sounds insane, but I swear my wife is totally normal otherwise, which makes this so strange to me. For context, we're both in our later 30s and live in a pretty typical suburban neighborhood where we all know each other. My wife has always loved trashy movies and shows about infidelity, and she eats up true crime about spouses killing their cheating partners too. She just says that something about it makes her morbidly fascinated, in her words. Well, a couple of months back, we had a scandal in our neighborhood where a married couple divorced because the husband cheated. No, there wasn't a murder or anything like that. But my wife became obsessed with learning every detail from every neighbor. No matter the occasion, be it a baby shower or cookout, she would bring it up hoping there'd be any new information. 1 month later is when I stumbled upon the board in her home office. I was doing some cleaning, and I found a massive bulletin board facing away leaned up against the wall. Curiosity got the better of me, and I turned it around to find a literal effing conspiracy board of all of our neighbors' pictures with with lines of yarn connecting each other, like that effing Pepe Sylvia meme. I was totally confused and asked her what this was, and she told me it was just a hobby that she had started recently where she would track rumors or likely candidates for cheating on the board. The yarn The yarn represented who was possibly cheating and with whom. She had clearly gotten all the images on Facebook or some social media and printed them out, and even had a few sticky notes with details. I told her this was creepy and insane, and she said maybe if I was doing it as a man it would be, but she was just having harmless fun as a hobby, and she wouldn't be crazy and try to oust anyone based on rumors. She just likes feeling like a detective. She told me to view it like a creative art piece. I was still super weirded out, but I let it go, or at least I tried to. I thought about it a lot. Well, every now and then, I admit that I check the board when cleaning. But just a couple of days ago, I looked to see that now I was on the board with yarn attached to a neighbor's wife that I'm casual friends with. I asked her why she would add me and if she thought that I was cheating, and she said that was a different yarn color for potential matches for cheating. She said if it makes me feel better, she was planning on adding herself to the board soon too. Well, I got pissed and kinda lost my temper about it. I told her to get rid of that board or our marriage would be in trouble. Things have been super rocky since. I'm starting to feel bad, and it hit me more than usual this morning. Should I apologize to her? And before you ask, no, I don't suspect her of cheating. Honestly, I wish that she was cheating because that would at least make more sense than this. Then, 1 week later, OP posted an update. You guys gave me the courage to approach her and tell her that while I may have overreacted by threatening our marriage, I think that what she's doing is creepy. She apologized and said that she would get rid of the board. I thought that we were good. Literally 2 days later, the poop hits the fan. Our happily married next-door neighbor finds a woman's bra under the bed that does not belong to her. It doesn't take long for the whole neighborhood to find out. Well, my wife is giddy, like jumping up and down for joy. She shows me the board, which she still didn't trash like she promised. And of course, the husband was marked with yarn, meaning he was likely to cheat. She told me the board was accurate after all, and maybe she should keep her hobby around. I was definitely suspicious, so I looked at the board again later. It looked different from the last time that I saw it before the latest scandal. Instead of the yarn connecting to another neighbor, the cheating husband's yarn connected to a post-it with a question mark. Firstly, it was the only question mark there, and I swore it wasn't there last time I saw the board. So either she changed it after the cheating to prove a point, or slightly before it happened, which made me even more suspicious either way. Now I felt like the detective and that I was going crazy. I went over to the cheating husband's to ask a few questions. His wife was staying at her parents' place, so it was just the two of us. I asked him if he actually did it, and he said no, he would never do that. Then I asked if my wife had been over recently. He said that one day, his wife asked my wife to water a plant they had while they were both away, and she told my wife where the key was. So, yes. I immediately raised an eyebrow. I asked if he still had the bra, and he was getting nervous and told me not to get the wrong idea. I said, don't worry. He still had the bra, and I looked at it. It was my wife's, but one I knew she almost never wore because it was from a lingerie set that I bought her one Christmas, and she said that it was uncomfortable. I told my neighbor that I needed to talk to my wife and ran out but told him not to worry. I approached my wife with the bra and asked her what was going on. She played stupid, but I told her to cut the BS. I asked her if she had either cheated on me with the neighbor or planted the bra there. Either way, she was in trouble. She confessed to planting the bra and said that it was to make me admit that her hobby was valid or something. I flipped out on her. I said this was worse than her cheating on me because instead of just ruining our marriage, she also ruined our neighbor's marriage. I demanded she call the wife and admit to everything, even sending her pictures of the board. I even showed the other wife this Reddit post, which actually helped me convince the neighbor's wife that the bra was planted rather than her husband cheated. Well, they've made up, but now I have no idea what to do. I'm barely speaking to my wife, and it's only a matter of time before the entire neighborhood figures this out. I seriously need advice. Yeah, I like to imagine that somewhere in the neighborhood, there's another neighbor with a board who's trying to piece together this conspiracy that your wife is enacting like some Machiavellian scheme. Also, down in the comments, people are talking about how there was some woman who was obsessed with true crime, so she literally murdered people because she wanted to know what it was like to be in a true crime, and she was caught almost immediately. OP, man, I don't know how else to say this. Your wife is a certifiable nut job. Like the type of person to drug you to death in your sleep, and then when you wake up, she's cut off part of your skin and sewn it into clothing that she's wearing around the house. Yo, this lady is bonkers. Coming into this post, when I read the title, I was pretty confident that the hobby was going to be like she collects creepy dolls, and I was prepared to defend her, but no, I can't defend this. This is way off the deep end. Our next Reddit post comes from rSlash. Well, we were supposed to close on our first home this upcoming Tuesday. Today, we received an email stating that closing was ready to go, and that closing costs were ready to be wire transferred. The emails, wiring instructions, address, names for our title company were all the same. We sent the money at 1 p.m. 7 hours later, we noticed the scam. Based on all the posts in this sub, I know there's no hope. But now we can't afford to buy the house. It's just absolutely devastating. I already called the bank, the cops, and I did an FBI complaint. I just feel so upset, and I feel like an idiot. Then, 1 month later, OP posted an update. Today, my husband and I got back $28,000 of the $30,000 that we sent to the scammer. The FBI ended up calling us, saying they were doing some kind of kill chain or something. It was a lot of chaos and anxiety for us, and we were ready to have a mental breakdown. We were also able to purchase the house. I hope my story helped others. Never wire money. Our next Reddit post comes from r/credit score. My ex and I broke up a little more than a year ago. We lived together for a couple of years, and I know that she would have had access to my financial information. When we broke up, I moved out of the house that we were renting, and I thought that I took everything of mine with me. Back in February, when I was doing my taxes, I realized that I couldn't find my folder with my previous year's tax returns anywhere. I assumed it got lost in the move and didn't think anything else of it. Last Friday, I got served for a lawsuit to the tune of $5,000 for a defrauded credit card. When I went and actually pulled my credit, I saw that my card had been defaulted since May, and there was another one which had been closed since June for about $2,500. Seeing as I had no knowledge about this, I immediately disputed both of the accounts on all three bureaus' websites. I was able to talk with a representative for one of the card companies, and they said that it was opened in January. Well, more specifically, after I moved out of my old place, the cards were sent to that old place. I received the statements from the one card, and it was basically 80% Nordstrom and Macy's, two of the stores that my ex loved shopping at. I'm pretty sure she was the one who opened the accounts, probably using my social security number from the old tax returns. I called my ex about it, and she denied everything, even when I told her that eventually, if she had anything shipped to the house using a stolen credit card, then she's gonna get found out. She flipped out and started screaming at me, saying that I can't seriously accuse her of anything and to never talk to her again. About 20 minutes later, I get a call from a blocked number. It was her new boyfriend, threatening to make my life a living hell unless I stopped harassing her by claiming that she stole my identity. He hung up, but I was shaken up about it. I can see that he's got some serious felonies just by looking at the public records on the county website. I'm kinda stuck here. I'm opening myself up to retaliation if I go forward with anything from someone who has charges of aggravated arson and aggravated discharge of a firearm, in addition to a few battery charges. I can't just not do anything, though. Then, 1 month later, OP posted an update. I followed the advice in the comments and went to the cops. It was a quick and painless process. I was in and out in maybe 30 minutes with a report number. I never received another call from my ex or her boyfriend. I gave the report number to the credit card companies and the credit bureaus. I was told that I didn't have to do anything else at that point but to show up for the court date and the lawsuit. I learned through a mutual friend today that my ex was arrested this morning. Apparently, the county put out a warrant for her last week and she was pulled over on the way to work. It looks like she was charged and released pretty quickly. Also, I learned that my ex and the boyfriend who threatened me are no longer friends. I don't think that I have to worry about him anymore. The court date for the lawsuit is later this month, but everything has already fallen off of my report. My score has gone up probably 200 points. I'm still going to the court date just to make sure everything's good, but it's looking like all good news from here on out. Our next Reddit post is from rSlash Am I the Butthole? Am I the butthole for cutting my hair without telling my husband first? I'm a 29-year-old guy, and I was running some errands today and spontaneously decided to get a haircut. My hair wasn't that long, only to my chin, but it's been bothering me for a while now. It's not a drastic difference, just a little shorter and a more conventionally masculine style. I didn't even think about telling my husband, who's 41, before doing it. When I got home and he saw my new haircut, he immediately got pissed. I asked him if he liked it, and he said that he didn't. He asked me what I was thinking cutting off my hair without talking to him first. I honestly didn't think it'd be that big of a deal because it's just hair and it'll grow back eventually. When I told him that, he completely freaked out and said if I didn't care about it, I should just cut it all off. He's now locked me in the bathroom until I shave my head. I'm honestly in a bit of shock because I didn't expect this to escalate this way. I don't want to shave my head, but I also don't want to stay in the bathroom forever. Is it really such a big deal that I didn't talk to my husband beforehand? Then, 1 day later, OP posted an update. My husband and I had a fight yesterday. It wasn't even anything serious, but it escalated a little. I got a haircut without talking to him about it first, and he got mad about it. I then made it worse by saying it's not a big deal and it's just hair that'll grow back, so he made me shave my head to prove his point. He's always been a little neurotic about things like plans and giving him a heads up before I do anything. He generally doesn't like it when I do things that he hasn't approved of first. Like when I order something at a restaurant, or when I make plans with people that he doesn't know that well. But that's just how he is. I guess he's a micromanager and can be a little uptight about things, but I never took any of that as abusive. When I made a post on Reddit about our fight yesterday, a lot of comments said that he's abusive. I don't think that I'm being abused though. He never gets violent with me or forces me to do things I don't want to do. You mean like shave your head, OP? But it got me thinking that maybe there are things that I should look out for in case he ever changes. Then, 2 weeks later, OP posted an update. I just wanted to let you all know that you were right. After what happened last month, things kept getting worse. Last night, we had another fight that escalated, and after I was released from the hospital, I went straight to my sister's house. Tomorrow, her and her boyfriend are coming with me to collect some of my stuff. I'd like to think that I would have left him without your comments on my last post, but I'm honestly not completely sure if I wouldn't have just tried to find excuses for his behavior. So thank you for that. Man, I really don't want to criticize OP because OP is definitely the victim here, but it's crazy how blind people can be to their own situations. This post, clearly, this is like really rock solid, obvious abuse. And he's like, OP says, my husband would never force me to do something against my wishes, while literally writing a post where the husband did exactly that. Well, I guess the hospital was a wake-up call. That was r/Best of Redditor updates. And if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.